After an extensive manhunt by multi-agencies, Dante Bender was taken into custody around 10:30 today in Ackerman, Mississippi.
The statewide search for a suspect accused of killing a Meridian police officer comes to a dramatic end this morning in Choctaw County. You're looking at exclusive drone video from that capture today. We have the details straight ahead on WCBI News.
WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to begin with that capture of the suspect. After a night on the run, that suspected cop killer is in jail in Meridian tonight.
That's right. 31-year-old Dante Marquez Bender is accused of shooting Meridian police officer Kenneth Croom. Croom and other Meridian police officers were called to a domestic violence incident around 5 p.m. Thursday afternoon. When they got to the scene, they found a victim who had been shot and the suspect. Croom exchanged fire with the suspect and was hit.
When officers checked the residence, they discovered a female, Brittany Jones, inside suffering from a fatal gunshot wound. Ms. Jones was pronounced deceased at the scene. Officer Croom was transported to a local hospital where he was pronounced deceased.
The Mississippi Bureau of Investigation immediately issued a blue alert for the suspect Dante Bender, a former police officer, and began a statewide manhunt involving several law enforcement agencies.
And that manhunt ended 14.5 hours later when Bender was taken into custody. He made his way from Newton County to Ackerman early this morning. That's where he was caught and arrested.
Yeah, that's right. And our Desmond Matthews was on the scene not long after that arrest, and he joins us in the studio with more. Desmond, what can you tell us?
Andrea Winston, law enforcement agencies cornered Dante Bender after pinging his phone. The half-day manhunt ended without any further violence.
This is drone footage captured the moment law enforcement trapped and arrested Dante Bender. Bender allegedly shot and killed his girlfriend and unborn child along with Meridian police officer Kenneth Croom. His phone was pinged in Ackerman after an almost 15-hour statewide manhunt. Bender's SUV was spotted behind a Chevron gas station. The owner of the store says he couldn't believe his ears when he got the call.
She was like, I think the guy is over here. And I told her, call the cops, I'm on my way. And I looked across the street, just came right away. We're glad they got him cut, but nobody expected it was gonna be here in Ackerman. Small town like, Ackerman. U.S.
Marshals and officers from several state and county agencies were involved in the capture. Choctaw County Sheriff Brandon Busby says his deputies responded quickly when they found out Bender was in their area.
You never know what you're going to walk up on or what kind of, what the situation's going to be when you pull up on scene. Officer safety is a big thing. We encourage our people to follow all guidelines and protocols as closely as possible.
Ackerman Police Chief Tim Cook says having a bird's eye view helped officers safely get the suspect in custody.
The drone, you get the drone up in the air, which can cover several miles, and that drone keeps, actually it helps with officer safety and us having to make direct contact with them at the time. That way we can sit back and we can make a game plan and decide how we need to go in.
Bender was taken back to Lauderdale County this afternoon. He remains there tonight.
Knoxville County deputies have made an arrest in a Dollar General armed robbery. Demetrius Prince is charged with armed robbery. Bond has not been set for the man from Sugar Lock. He remains in the Knoxville County Jail. This holdup happened this past Monday at the Dollar General in Sugar Lock. Deputies say the clerk was held at gunpoint by two men wearing masks. Investigators are still searching for another suspect. If you have information about this armed robbery, call the Knoxville County Sheriff's Office.
A Starkville man is accused of trying to lure an 11-year-old girl in a child sex crime. 23-year-old Shikel Sproul is charged with enticement of a child to produce visual depiction. Columbus Police Chief Fred Shelton says Sproul was allegedly sending messages to the child on the internet. The victim's mother saw the messages and reported them to police. Shelton tells WCBI Sproul was arrested in Columbus after arranging a meeting with the child. Sproul remains in the Lowndes County Jail.
Columbus police continue to arrest people suspected of stealing an officer's weapons. Chief Fred Shelton says 6 juveniles and 1 adult have been arrested in this investigation. 18-year-old Javarion Davis is charged with felony taking of a motor vehicle and auto burglary. He remains in jail and more arrests are expected. Officers have recovered 4 guns so far, but none of them belong to Columbus police. Other items have also been found. Shelton believes the group stole a truck and then drove around looking for unlocked vehicles. It's unclear how many vehicles were burglarized.
Scattered showers, even a few thunderstorms moved through the region earlier today. You'll note the warm front retreating back down to the south. That will keep the showers down to the south as well, as we'll clear out overnight tonight. Check out your radar. Pretty much all clear across the region. We had a few light showers in Pickens County earlier this evening. Those have since moved out of the area. Temperatures are in the 70s for the most part. 80 degrees down Tupelo actually, but 77 degrees in Aberdeen and here in Columbus. 78 in Vernon. Winona checking in 74. Overnight tonight, lows will be in the upper 60s. A stray shower possible. We're going to warm up as we get through the rest of the weekend. I've got your latest detailed forecast coming up.
A Clay County jury has found Clark Allen Jr. guilty of murder. Family members may have exited the courtroom with justice yesterday, but their hearts remain broken, they say, from the loss of their loved ones.
Yeah, Allen killed 31-year-old Demario Snell, 22-year-old Mauricio Nansen, 24-year-old Tyshawn Fields in Artesia in January of 2019. Our Stephanie Poole joins us in the studio with more details. Stephanie.
That's right. After 3.5 years, the murderer who committed the triple homicide incident will spend the rest of his life in prison. Now, the mother of Demario Snell speaks exclusively to WCBI about the moment she learned about her son's death.
I had to go to a graveyard and tell my son justice had been served.
Talking to a headstone. That's how Veronica Yarbrough says she now communicates with her son, 31-year-old Demario Snell. Snell, along with Mauricio Nance and Tyshawn Fields, were all shot and killed nearly 4 years ago by Clark Allen Jr. With a guilty verdict, the family can now take extra steps towards gaining closure.
Everybody was rejoicing and clenching that I knew that justice had been served.
But Yarbrough says she faced challenging times during the investigation and trial.
To see the yesterday pictures was the last time I saw him. He came over my house that Monday before it happened. And those pictures was the last time that I got a chance to see him.
She even contemplated the unthinkable.
And y'all, for 3 years and nearly 5 months, I haven't slept. There were days I couldn't come out my house. There were days I wanted to kill myself. I wanted to commit suicide. I just didn't know how to live.
We're gonna always hurt, but you know, we'll always have memories. These 3 guys, they will never be forgotten. They'll always be in our hearts.
16th District Attorney Scott Colon says witnesses were brought to testify during the week-long trial.
The defendant testified he continued to show callousness, lack of regard for human life, and not really taking any accountability for the evil that he exhibited on that day.
Colon credits the Lowndes County Sheriff's Office for their hand in the investigation.
They got every piece of evidence from foot casts to GSR to DNA to ballistics. They searched 3 or 4 times to find the gun. They did a lot of hard work that paid off at trial because we were able to present overwhelming evidence to the jury.
Yarbrough says she considered a death penalty for Allen. She later decided against it. Yarbrough and other families who tragically suffered a loss can now celebrate the lives of Snell, Nance, and Fields.
He was one of the kind. Demario just loved. I asked God to allow me to forgive Clark Allen Jr., and I did.
Colon tells WCBI Clark Allen Jr. will serve his life sentence without parole.
Mississippi State is making classes more accessible for all of its students.
We take a look at its unique program when we come back.
Welcome back. Mississippi State University is striving to create an inclusive environment on campus. MSU has one of only 15 comprehensive programs for students with intellectual disabilities in the nation.
That's right. This program is known as Access. Our Takia Cummings went to MSU today to learn more about the program, and she joins us in the studio with more. Takia?
I talked with instructors in the Access program today, and as students are taught how to deal with everyday life scenarios, teachers also find they learn a little themselves.
The then academic coordinator came to me and said, hey, we'd like to put an Access student in your American government class. And I was like, great, let's do it. What's that mean?
Access is a program at Mississippi State University for students with intellectual or developmental disabilities who want to take on the challenge of college. The program is one of only 15 like it nationwide. Access allows students to learn how to take on everyday life skills and participate in regular undergrad college classes with students of a similar major. Assistant Director Christine Williams says not only does this program help students learn, but it also pushed her to become a better teacher.
Very big push for me to change my approach to teaching college classes. And it was the beginning of me realizing that I really wanted to teach to students who wanted to learn. And so when that semester was over and we were gearing up for the next fall, I said can I have another Access student?
And not only are teachers a part of this, there are over 100 students who serve as college coaches and peer mentors, giving Access students more opportunities to interact with their classmates. Academic coordinator Stacy Jackson says students who help aren't there to do things for them, but they help them get through things that they may struggle with.
This is someone that is my go-to person. This is someone that, would be a support. They are not there to do things for the Access student. They're there to be a support and help guide and be an example.
Former student Krista Holland says being a peer mentor in college is the reason she is an administrative assistant in the program today.
I was in a class that I don't want to say required, but suggested that we, become a peer mentor and get to know some of the Access students here.
Holland says the Access program is a way to grow and help the student and mentor conquer bigger obstacles.
It's been an amazing journey. Watch us both grow into who we are and who we both knew we could be.
To learn more about the program, you can visit access.msstate.edu.
Rain has ended across the region. We'll look out west where high pressure is on its way and much warmer temperatures. Your latest forecast is coming up.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Lance Blocker.
Many of us had some showers, even a few thunderstorms for us earlier today. Some rumbles of thunder out there, but not a whole lot of accumulation out of this system for our region here. The main complex of showers and storms remain to our southwest, but we still got a little bit of rain. Carthage checking in 0.14 of an inch. And we only got a trace here in Columbus. Officially at the airport, 0.02 of an inch. Head over to Louisville. You got the greatest amount there, 0.4 of an inch of rain, just a little bit above that even. If you're hoping for more rain, well, unfortunately, you're not going to like my forecast today. Radar is all clear right now. It's going to stay that way for a while. We'll get to that here in just a moment and show you why. But starting out with the Alpha Insurance live sky view over Columbus, mostly cloudy conditions, still damp roadways, damp rooftops out there. It'll stay like that overnight and for the rest of the evening as well. No real wind out there. Temperatures right now, 77 degrees in town, 77 in Starkville, 80 degrees up in Tupelo right now. Gee, everybody's 77, it seems like. Louisville, 71. There you go. Vernon, 78 degrees. Overnight tonight, a few more clouds. They'll begin to dissipate after midnight. They'll push out of the region. Perhaps a stray shower for one or two locations. Most of us will just dry out overnight tonight. Lows in the upper 60s, calm winds for us here this evening. No real big changes except for the fact that we're going to dry out and warm up. So no significant systems pushing to the region. That's the good news. The bad news is when I say warm up, it's going to get hot. I mean, I know it's June and it's Mississippi. And this is what we do here in West Central Alabama as well. But this is going to be unseasonably warm. And this is why the upper level flow right now, we've had northwesterly flow into our region the last few days. We've had a few shots at some rain and storms because of that. That changes quickly. See this area of high pressure out to my west right here? That means you got sinking air right there and a clear sky for the most part. That will shift eastbound and allow us to warm into the mid to upper 90s through the week next week. Even a few locations topping out and possibly over the century mark. 1 or 2 spots 100 degrees. This is all the way through Thursday. High pressure across the entire lower 48. That's going to push all of our systems well to the north into Canada, or just simply block them out west. So dry forecast ahead and hot, and unfortunately not seeing any chance of that changing anytime soon. Check out how your temperatures respond. Upper 80s on Saturday. That's the best day of the week. Look at it all the way through into next week. We'll see temperatures in the upper 90s. Be sure to keep an eye on the pets, your neighbors. You may want to keep an eye on them and check in with them. Make sure that they're doing all right. Take plenty of breaks inside in the air conditioning. Drink plenty of fluids as well. Just stay hydrated next week. If you got any outdoor work to do, get it done tomorrow, because on into the week, it will not be ideal. 95 degrees on Sunday. Unfortunately, that's relatively cool for this week. Temperatures next week, low 100s possible.
Well, today was a good day to get away from that hot sun, but
yes,
of course it's a different story going forward.
It changes quickly.
Shouldn't be any problem for a Georgia boy like yourself, though.
No, but it's a good week to be inside. That's what I'll say.
All right, Ole Miss and Southern Miss are one day away from what should be an epic super regional. We'll have a full preview coming up for you next in sports.
For WCBI Sports with John Sokolov is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
Super Regional Weekend gets rolling for Ole Miss and Southern Miss on Saturday, and them each being Mississippi schools isn't the only intriguing part about the matchup. One of the main reasons the Golden Eagles are ranked 11th in the country is that incredibly deep pitching staff. The team ERA 3.17 this season, by far the best in Conference USA. Louisiana Tech is second with a 4.28 team ERA. Teams are hitting .228 against them, which is also by far the best batting average against. Charlotte is second, .247. And their 721 strikeouts, which is about 11.2 per game, is 125 more than second place Louisiana Tech. And while the Golden Eagles have the pitching, the Rebs have had the bats. Their team slugging percentage is .498, which is third in the SEC. The Rebs' 98 homers is fourth, and 5 everyday players hit at least .274, while 3 are over .300. Kevin Graham, Justin Bench, Tim Elko, Kemp Alderman, and Jacob Gonzalez. Both teams have struggled getting to Omaha in the past. Southern Miss has only been to the College World Series one time. It was 2009, which is also the only year that the Golden Eagles have won a regional. They've been to the NCAA tournament a combined 18 times, but when it comes to Ole Miss, it's a different story. In Mike Bianco's tenure, which goes all the way back to 2001, the Rebs made the tournament 18 times in his 21 years, 8 super regional appearances. They've advanced to supers 3 consecutive years, but they just got 1 College World Series appearance in his tenure back in 2014.
It's asked a lot. It's not a secret, that we've been in this position a lot and only gotten through once. You are who you are at this point. You don't all of a sudden try to figure out to bunt more or to, hit and run more or do something different with your pitching staff. Both teams, obviously, you don't get to this point without, not just us, but the other, 14 as well, 16 teams that are playing well and deserve to be here. And you hope that you play well enough, here to move on.
First pitch for Game 1 Saturday at 3 on ESPNU. Mississippi State baseball added another pitcher from the transfer portal. Chris Lemonis picked up a commitment from Ball State pitcher Nate Dome. The freshman posted a 5.71 earned run average last season with the Cardinals, but his fastball ranged from 94 all the way up to 99 miles per hour. He struck out 56 batters in 41 innings. Here's what Lemonis and the coaching staff told him.
They kind of just said that I was going to come in and compete for a spot. Obviously, nothing's going to be guaranteed with like everything in life. You gotta earn it. But they're like, we got all the tools to get you to be as good as you can be, and we really believe you can be successful here. And they kind of took me on a tour of everything, and I was just incredibly impressed and with everything they had to offer, and it just felt like a perfect fit for me.
Former Starkville Yellow Jacket and Ole Miss Rebel A.J. Brown returned to his hometown of Starkville. The Philadelphia Eagles star hosting a camp at Starkville High School Saturday. Up to 20 schools in the area are invited, including Louisville, Noxubee County, Columbus, Pontotoc, and plenty of others. Coach Chris Jones and Gillespie will be in attendance. We'll have a story on the event Saturday night, and you can hear from A.J. Brown and campers right here on WCBI. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
WCBI coverage of the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals is brought to you by Monroe County Farm Bureau. And visit Columbus, the city that has it all.
Well, a lot of parents pay for summer camps, but these campers in Starkville are actually earning money. Mississippi State University's ICreate Camp for Young Entrepreneurs gears up for Business Saturday during their pop-up shop in Starkville. This week-long camp taught them leadership and teamwork to help them build, market, and sell their very own products. The campers say they have created products for all sorts of folks. The campers will keep all the money they get from the sales.
So from 10 to 2, you can come into the Idea Shop here on Main Street and buy all products made by these ICreate campers. This year's theme is kitchen, so they're going to have different kitchen supplies, accessories, different things that they've built out like trays, coasters, knives.
So again, that's going to be tomorrow from 10 to 2 at the Idea Shop on Main Street in Starkville. The ICreate Camp will return next year as well.
And tomorrow is the best day of the week to get outside and do anything. Temperatures tomorrow in the upper 80s, which is relatively cool compared to the end of next week.
Real close to 90 though.
Yeah.
So far. 100 next week, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yep.
Well, anyways, have a good night. See you in Anderson.
Good night.